How do you clear mental static and or emotional density? And I want to know how you guys do it. Here are some ways we clear mental static or emotional density if it doesn't just happen by thinking about it. There's always therapy. I'm not a huge proponent of therapy, in part because it's one dimensional. It's two dimensional, emotional and thinking. And a lot of it depends on the therapist. And I'm biased. I don't think there's many good therapists out there. I may be wrong, but that's how my point of view is. Okay. So, but therapy is one way to get in there, to get in the trenches and heal the wounds that have been caused to you over the course of your life. Coaching is what I do, or just any form of support, 12-step programs, book reading groups, wherever you can go to be with people who lift you up. Energy clearing and running energy. So these are ways. Energy clearing, there's like 12,000 different types of energy workers out there in the world. And all of them have value in some way. It's finding which one works for your particular system and the method that really connects to you. But if you find one and that's a way to go, or sometimes you need multiple people with different modalities to come in, just as if you go to your primary physician and then they give you the referral to the specialist who then sends you to the practitioner who then sends you to the pharmacy. Our energetic systems are different. I personally love running energy, which is a process I believe we did in this class where we run energy up through the feet, up into the chakras, and then you pull energy into the crown, down the back, and you mix it together. I find when you run energy, it really helps you separate from the dialogue, the inner dialogue, and sort of like getting your car started in the cold weather. You run it for a few minutes, and all of a sudden it starts to do better. There's also meditation. I used to hate meditation, as I referenced last week, and Catherine in the chat is saying meditation and walking in nature and making art. Yes, well, you're way ahead of me there. But meditation itself, separating from our thoughts, as we talked about so much last week, seeing the distance from our thought patterns, from our emotions, and from form itself. That process is stellar. Then exercise or athletics. And Catherine said that in the chat, walking. It's just once you start moving your body, it also gets your energy running. I think right around 15 minutes, the endorphins kick in as well, but that's great. Athletics is also a practice. If you play a sport or something like that, that can be really useful to certain degrees. Expression through the arts. Expressing without words is one of the tops on my list. I think we all use a lot of words, and communication is useful and helpful on a lot of levels, but the ability to express your feelings and that part of you that can't even articulate words and to put names to what you're going through, that's huge. So that's a way to do it. Learn something new. I think a lot of us, we're creatures of habit, and we get into a way of being that says, okay, I know how to cook, I know how to clean my house, I know how to get to my job, I know how to drive to my job, I know how my family works, I know how to grocery shop, and then we get a routine and we're comfortable and it's familiar. But learning something new takes you out of your comfort zone. Right? Some of you may or may not know this, but I'm a classically trained cellist. I was rather proficient, and that's what my parents wanted me to be. That was what they had in mind for me. Long story short, I became a singer, blah, blah, blah. And I picked up the guitar and the piano over the years, and I was self-taught in that regard. But often when you play one instrument, you can translate it over. but it's not like when you learn it from the ground up from someone who's proficient. Well, recently I've been taking some lessons from someone who's very proficient, and I'm a beginner essentially. And it's very humbling when you've been really good at something in one way to go into another format and it really suck. And it's like it's very humbling. But there's something about that, coming back into the kindergarten spirit and saying, I don't have to be an expert at everything. It was really funny at my last lesson. I was so terrible. I was laughing, and the teacher's so nice. He doesn't want to laugh at me, but I was cracking up at myself. But learning something new, it opens you up, and you just say, I'm open to receive, and I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be an expert. And I think when we free ourselves from having to be perfect and having to be an expert, we open ourselves up to all kinds of interesting and rewarding experiences.